Good day to everyone. And I'm Sachi, and my title is Incorporating the Analytical Skill in a Reading Comprehension Class, a Case Study. This is actually a part of my PhD studies, which I'm doing now with University of Utara, Malaysia. Now, the background of the study. Education is playing a very crucial role in every nation's development and success. In fact, it has been established that nations with higher education levels tend to enjoy greater economic prosperity. However, education in the 21st century has changed dramatically. The focus is no more just giving people knowledge or information. More than that, education today emphasizes the creation of human capital that is critical in thinking, creative, and has the capacity to continuously learn. Now, because of this, nations all over the world have actually made changes to their education system. Malaysia also had made this education transformation in 2013 through its Malaysia Education Blueprint, which highlights the higher order thinking questions which make up their public examinations. Now, the problem is it has been found that Malaysian students are lacking in both the English language as well as their thinking skills, according to the Malaysian Education Blueprint. Even up to 2018, there has been a lot of complaints that teachers are still struggling to teach the higher order thinking skills in the language classroom. Now, researchers in the recent times have increased, but most of them are looking at how teachers, or rather, what is the knowledge and the perception of teachers, rather than how teachers teach in the classroom. So, in other words, there is a lack or a dearth on researchers in Malaysia that investigates the best practices of teachers. Now, the rationale for this study is traditional methods of teaching have been challenged as ineffective and inefficient in today's media suffused learning environment. In fact, teachers are expected to learn new tools, new approaches, and new skills to actually match the demands of the 21st century. As such, it is important to find a suitable framework or guideline that can be used to improve both the teaching of English and POS. On that score, the research objective of this study will be to investigate ESL teachers' knowledge of the analytical skills, to investigate the ESL teachers' perception towards the teaching of the analytical skill in the reading comprehension lesson, to explore ESL teachers' best practices of teaching analytical skills in the reading comprehension lesson, and finally, to investigate the factors that influence the teaching of analytical skills in the reading comprehension lesson. With these objectives, the following 4 questions have become my research questions. Number 1, do the ESL teachers have adequate knowledge of the analytical skills to teach them in the reading comprehension lesson? Question 2, what is the ESL teacher's perception of teaching the analytical skills in the reading lesson? Question 3, how do the expert ESL teachers teach the analytical skills in a reading comprehension lesson? And question 4, what factors influence the teaching of analytical skills in a reading comprehension lesson? Based on these For questions, the following framework has been presented by me as my conceptual framework. That is, the independent variable will be perception of the teachers and also the ESL teachers' knowledge. The dependent variable will be the teachers' practices influenced by both their perception and their knowledge. And at the end of the day, we are looking at the learning, teaching and learning environment where the analytical skill is being incorporated. Now, under literature review, my study discusses past studies on incorporating higher order thinking skills. It also discusses frameworks of HOTS. There are about 42 frameworks of higher order thinking skills in the Mosley 2005. Special mention to be made in Bloom's taxonomy. It also discusses the learning theories, especially under behaviorism, Skinner's and Bandura and Vygotsky's and Piaget's on constructivism. Other constructs such as perception, best classroom practices, lesson design, teacher instruction, subject content, classroom culture, and school environment are also discussed in the literature review section. Now, the theoretical framework of this research will be teaching analytical skills in a reading comprehension lesson, supported by behaviorism, that is Skinner, Vygotsk's constructivism, Piaget's cognitive constructivism, and the bedrock of all these theories will be the Bloom's taxonomy, where the fourth level is the analytical skills. The research methodology, the research design will be a mixed mode. That means it will be having both quantitative and qualitative analysis. Sampling ESL teachers in the Kuala Muda Yan district in Kedah, Malaysia, who will actually participate in a set of questionnaire, which will test their knowledge in the analytic skills and their perception towards teaching analytic skills in the English language lesson. Then we have a classroom observation protocol, which is actually adapted from the Horizon Research Incorporation, and also an interview protocol also taken from the Horizon Research Incorporation, which will be adapted and modified and adapted. For validity and reliability of these research instruments, these three instruments will be sent to first for expert review, after which it will be pilot studied, and then its validity and reliability will be confirmed. Significance of this study will be the guidelines that we can come out of observing the teachers, practicing teachers, will be able to give a framework for future teachers to conduct their lessons with greater success and confidence. Teacher training institutes and universities can introduce these guidelines in their teacher training program. Authors and publishers can now produce books based on these guidelines, which can further assist the teachers and students. The examination syndicate itself will find it easier to set questions, and our students can improve both their English language proficiency and their analytical skills, which is one of the more popular higher order thinking skills tested in the examination. Thank you.
Okay, that's a great presentation by Mr. Sachi. Is there any questions? Is there anyone who wants to ask any questions to Mr. Sachi, as he has just presented the ways to incorporate analytical skills and implement analytical skills within his case study. All right. Anyone who wants to ask any questions to Mr. Sachi? Okay. Dr. Mawinder has another question to ask, and I will unmute Dr. Mawinder. All right. Okay, Dr. Mawinder, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, you may address your question to Mr. Sachi.
Yeah, Mr. Sachi, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, good. Mr. Sachi, I just like you to show me the research question. Okay, my question will be taken from there actually.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, all right. This research questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the first research question. The rest I think should be okay. When you talk about, do the ESL teachers have adequate knowledge of the analytical skills to teach them in the reading comprehension lesson? Okay, are you going to actually test the teacher's knowledge, and how will you do it? That's my question actually.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. The questionnaire that I'm proposing, which I've already done, has got three sections. Section 1 is demographic. Section 2 actually tests the teacher's knowledge. In other words, there will be questions, test questions, which will be asking about their understanding of the analytical skills. Where there are 5, and the answers will be marked, and the marks will be actually later transferred, and they will be ranked whether they have adequate knowledge, or rather 1 to 5, for example, whether they are fully aware of the analytical skills, or they are 50%, or whether they are very weak in their knowledge on the analytical skills. There is a test in the questionnaire.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's a section in the questionnaire which will actually test teachers' knowledge on the analytical skills, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And I would just prefer if you can rephrase this to what extent ESL teachers have knowledge rather than do, because if you have do, it's only yes and no. Okay. Unless it's a hypothesis, right? But the rest I think should be good. Okay. That's very clear. If you have a section in the questionnaire, then should be okay. You just need to pilot the items in that particular section, right?
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Sachi. It's a good research, right? Thank you.
Okay, that was a very good question and also comment addressed by Dr. Mawinder. And we have another one who wants to ask question, and it is Robina Nazir. Okay, I will unmute Robina Nazir to address the question to Mr. Sachi. Robina, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Is my voice clear?
Yes, it's clear. You may address your question to Mr. Sachi.
Thank you. Thank you. Kindly let me know what procedure you have adopted to data analysis of your research questions. How and which software is used to extract the results, please?
Okay. Firstly, the data will be collected from schools, all right? For the question number 1, the questionnaire will be given out to various schools in this in Kuala Mudayan district, and the analysis will be using descriptive analysis stats, okay, descriptive stats, where we will be using the percentages, okay, based on their responses. All right, it is quantitative. However, when it comes to question number 3 and 4, 3 especially, it will be classroom observation, which will be qualitative. So we need to take field notes during the classrooms. There is also a form, an appraisal form for classroom observation, as I said earlier, which is taken from the Horizon Research Incorporation, and which will be analyzed using inductive analysis approach, which will be more qualitative in nature.
Okay, Robina, has Mr. Sachi addressed the question to you?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So thank you, Robina, for addressing the question, and I will mute Robina. Okay, I will mute her now. All right. Okay. And thank you, Robina, and thank you, Dr. Mawender, for addressing such wonderful questions to Mr. Sachi. And thank you, Mr. Sachi, for presenting his idea on the analytical skills in incorporating within a case study. All right. Thank you so much, and we will proceed with the next presenter.